Let's go to our call of the day. No surprise here. It is Tesla. A slew of Wall Street analysts reacting to the car maker's record quarter for deliveries. And the commentary is mixed. Look, we always talk about how people have kind of like made their minds up about this stock already. But they got to come out and talk about it following that print. Credit Suisse saying that the volume was nice, but now it's time to focus on margins. JMP praising the results in spite of chaotic management. But the two notes that we want to focus on are, getting them ready, Baird and UBS. Baird calling the results a positive step in the healing process, while we've got UBS saying Tesla's delivery beat does not change its cautious view on Q2 earnings. Tesla is expected to report second quarter earnings on August 7th. So we've got a bull and a bear here for our call of the day.
Even the Baird is cautiously bullish.
So talk about that one, because yes, the UBS note, they have a sell. How cautiously optimistic is that?
Well, I like Baird's phrasing, which is the healing process. Now, as for UBS, maybe overly bearish, but I do agree with UBS in the sense that, let's remember, and our colleague Rick Newman was highlighting this about an hour ago on the show, this isn't earnings, people, okay? This is just deliveries. This is not the earnings report. Let's wait and see what happens when we get earnings. And we kind of bang the gong and celebrate when Tesla hits a new record, but it's all about just these kind of symbolic victories. And yes, it's going to send the stock higher in the short term, but does it really mean that Tesla has gotten away from the really deep systemic problems that we've seen in the last year? And let's also look at how much the stock has fallen in the last year. Now it's climbing back, but still way off what it once was because of really legitimate concerns. So does setting a new delivery record change any of that? No, it shouldn't.
It's that symbolic victory. They set a record.
Yeah, but
they had people sleeping on the factory floor to make that record, and the argument could be made those sales or those deliveries will pull forward from the second half of the year, and I just don't know if they're making money on 95,000.
He's asking accountants to deliver the cars. Come on.
Okay, so you guys, this is a lot of stuff in the UBS note. They're talking about production growth, also noting in here the losing of execs, and how
to march out the door.
So, is it possible that that's just because it's like so hard at the end of the quarter?
Yeah.
You're an accountant. You gotta go deliver these cars. Maybe it's just a tough working environment. There's nothing kind of deeper or scarier than that. I mean, they call out that they are still concerned, UBS, and this is our sell, about the loss of executives.
And I cover a lot of companies. I've covered a lot of companies for many, many years. After a record quarter of earnings and sales, you normally don't see executives depart. Maybe you see one below the C-suite level, but to have three executives in prominent positions to leave after a record quarter, that is abnormal. That's just not how things are supposed to go.
So the analyst over at Baird seems to be realizing what some of the bears will be saying that the bears are likely going to argue that strong results are not sustainable, though we continue to believe Tesla will be able to grow volumes and profitability from here. And also making the case on what's going to happen with all the shorts. So look, this has a huge float still out there of shorts on it. And at some point, Baird thinks that given this positive news, those shorts become incremental buyers. So like, even if you go for the bearish case, just on the technical setup, do you buy what Baird is selling?
Well, if Tesla puts up 1 penny per share when they report their earnings, or they turn slightly cash flow positive, the shorts are going to get absolutely slaughtered. But if you're interested in getting in Tesla, you will still probably have room to ride this stock higher, even if it pops, let's say 10 to 15% on earnings day, because you have people reevaluating Tesla's future, and they'll continue to drive the stock higher.
Well, and let's see the pricing data too. I'd like to see the price numbers, because how exactly did they hit that record number? How many of those sales were which price cars? And we're all still kind of waiting on the long, kind of misleadingly reported cheapest cost model.
It's and they really cut prices here too.
There's not, Rick was talking about this, but there really still isn't a 35 grand model. I mean, they say that, but then you get into all the upgrades, taxes, and standard things.
Right. Although UBS points out that there was a wider availability of the cheaper versions of the Model 3, they think that helped the numbers, but what will it mean, to your point and to what Rick was raising, for the margins?
Well, and do you want to drop costs just to juice the numbers of deliveries?
And Tesla shares, of course, are higher today in the everything rally. But NIO also up here, and the Baird note calling out just what Tesla is also doing with Shanghai and the factory, and that the construction of the shell there is done, that could be another catalyst going forward.
Put up a factory, get your stock price higher. Only in Tesla land.
You got to make cars.
Yeah, I guess.